Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the financial jungle. And today we're looking at Tenon Medical Incorporated and a recent filing that, well, it is not exactly a blockbuster, but it does give us a peek behind the curtain. So, what is the big news from Tenon Medical Incorporated? Well, it's not a massive product launch or a game-changing acquisition. Instead, it's all about stock, specifically restricted stock units, or RES, being issued to their directors and officers. Think of RES as a promise to give company stock in the future, usually after a certain period or if the company hits certain goals. It is a way to tie the company's leaders, paid directly to how well the company does. The company issued quite a few of these, 866,642 to be exact. These were handed out under their 2022 Equity Incentive Plan, which sounds fancy, but basically it is their blueprint for giving out stock options and similar things. These RSs are set to vest, meaning they become fully yours, in two parts. Half of them will be handed over on the 1st of January 2026 and the other half on the 31st of July 2026. Each RSU will convert into one share of common stock, so that is a pretty direct link to the company S stock value. Now, why are they doing this? Well, usually it's to keep their top people motivated and aligned with shareholders. If the stock price goes up, the value of these RSs goes up, and so do the rewards for the executives. This specific issuance was done without registering it with the Securities and Exchange Commission in the usual public way. They're saying this is allowed because it was a private issuance, not a public offering. They are relying on an exemption that says if you're not selling to the general public, you don't have to go through the full registration process. This filing isn't heavy on financial tables, which is a bit of a bummer for us data nerds, but it does touch upon some of the company's registered securities. We see that Tenon Medical Incorporated has common stock with a par value of 1,000th of a dollar per share and warrants. These are both traded on the Nasdaq stock market LLC. This tells us that while this particular transaction was private, the company's main shares and warrants are out there in the public market, and people can buy and sell them. The use of US dollars for these securities is, of course, standard for a US-based company. Looking at the broader picture, Tenon Medical Incorporated is categorized as an emerging growth company. This is a designation for newer public companies that get some regulatory breathing room. They have elected not to use the extended transition period for new or revised financial accounting standards, which means they're opting to keep up with the latest accounting rules, which is generally a sign of transparency and maybe a bit of confidence. This filing is pretty straightforward. It is not a deep dive into quarterly financials or a discussion of major business shifts. It is primarily about issuing future stock to key employees. The story here is about executive compensation and how the company plans to incentivize its leaders. They are essentially betting on their own future success, and in turn, asking their executives to do the same by giving them a stake in that success. So, what is my take on this filing? Well, it's not exactly a smoking gun for explosive growth or a dire warning. Issuing RSUs is a pretty standard practice in the corporate world. It suggests that leadership is committed to the company's long-term prospects. However, without more financial context from this particular report, it's hard to gauge the true health of the company or the specific impact of these overall financial picture. It is good that they are an emerging growth company and are keeping up with accounting standards that shows a level of maturity. The key risk, as always with companies like this, is execution. If the company doesn't perform as expected, these RSUs won't be worth much, and the incentive for executives might not pan out. Alright, that is our breakdown of Tenon Medical Incorporated's recent filing. What is your take on these stock unit grants and what they might signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.